But I don't know if it flicks away from us. Well, g'day. How you doing?
Mr. Woodrow, how are you, mate?
Mr. Ekka Steinbach. Fucking great, man, for hearing your voice.
Hang on, I've got...
You're changing your camera around, eh? Or are you getting yourself set up?
Did you see that?
That's all right. Doesn't matter. It's all good. And everyone watching now saw it too, but that's all right.
There we go, mate.
That's totally fine.
I had a call.
Yeah?
How are you, mate?
Yeah, mate.
Little
I'm
one?
fantastic, mate. Fantastic, Ekka.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Oh man, you gotta, we gotta try and get through this without me laughing too hard.
Yes, well, that's right. Let's keep it on the straight and narrow, little Wood.
Oh man, so mate, how things been going? What have you been up to?
Well, as you know, we've been having a ton of fun the last few months. Doing what we've done, just normal life, really, mate. At the end of the day, home with the wife and missus and kids, and working as best we can, and having fun with some nice holidays lately. So been camping, and but in the meantime, as you know, we've been trying to finish up and pump out this, which we have our version of the 12th Man tribute to Billy Birmingham.
Yeah, and what a blast it's been. Yeah, it's been amazing, and we're going to talk all about it. So what, mate? About me, I've just been I've been on holidays for a week. I sort of took the opportunity to take those 3 days off, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which gives you basically from Good Friday all the way till tomorrow. To have a bit of a time off. In my job, you don't get much. You pretty much, you're forced into Christmas holidays only, and then you get you've got about 4 days throughout the year that you can take outside of Christmas. So I took the opportunity to get a whole 10 days off, and it sort of just coincided well with our little end of release, and I sort of thought, well, we could probably get it done in that time. And so I've just been chill doing that, and doing a bit of uni work because I'm still doing a university degree. Trying to get that finished. I'm nearly ending my first trimester of the year, and just chilling out, doing a bit of shopping. Catching up with you most days. Talking, seeing the progress of our video. We've been in relatively constant contact. So that's kind of where I'm at, and we just thought we'd just get on today and have a bit of a chat about what we did and how we sort of came to doing it, and
what we've done.
Yeah, just a bit of a background, I guess, to it, and just give people a bit of context for anyone who's interested. Who knows? No one might ever even watch this, so who knows? So we've sort of made it into a bit of a pilot show for the Ekka and Woody cricket show, and whether that turns into being a thing or not, who knows? But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to come up with a little logo there, so that's why I've created one.
Well, that's bloody unbelievable, Wood. I love it, mate.
So Ekka, tell us a bit about your sort of how you got into playing cricket, your junior cricket, and even your senior cricket, and I guess how you went from, being a young boy who wanted to play cricket into playing in Queensland Churches cricket, because I think that's basically both where we ended up. We ended up finishing our careers as such in Churches cricket. How did that happen? Give us a bit of background on that.
All right. Well, I started our family. I got a brother and sister. I'm the oldest. Our family was always sporty, super sporty. tennis, golf, cricket. That was including mum and dad. And we were members of the Wantima Country Club at Albany
yeah.
Creeks. So I started my junior cricket days there at Wantima Cricket Club, and I think I went there at the age. Well, Dad used to take the brother and I to play golf on a Monday afternoon, 9 holes after school. I would have been about maybe 10 then. Within a year or two, the cricket club came to life. It was pretty ripe then, and so I started playing it in the under 12s, under 13s. That was around 1982. Played there till about 1986. Was lucky to be captain of the teams. We won one premiership. Then from there, was lucky to continue to make the North Brisbane zone sides. Throughout Brisbane, that was pretty awesome. And we even had a good old Rupert McCall, which a lot of people might know. He was our keeper in the zone sides for a few years there, when we played Gympie tournaments and that sort of thing. So then about 87, 88, I moved to Sandgate, Redcliffe, as you know.
Yeah.
You know yourself. Yeah. So
I was there too.
Yeah, correct. So moved over to Sandgate, Redcliffe in 87 and played a couple of years there. Was lucky to be captain of the under-18 side first year there, with lots of young cool dudes. And I always thought it was amazing being able to, because we trained I think it was a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and it was the first feeling of wow, this is the big time, isn't it? Because there's blokes at training with our team sides were blokes like Trevor Hones, Trevor Barsby, Ken Mackay, and Carl Rackerman would always be there, and I just thought, wow, this is insane. So so I had
did you play Taverners?
Who?
Did you play Lord Taverners?
I know the name, but I don't think we ever did.
As in the comp, the under 16, it's you as well.
No.
It was definitely when I was going through, it was considered the best of the best were essentially playing Lord Taverners, and you represented Sandgate or Toombul or whoever it was you're playing for. Did you play that? Did you play that comp?
No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
they didn't have it.
Yeah, I do remember hearing the name though. But yeah, ended up in playing a handful of games in second grade, about 89, and then but then came along guitars, guitars and girls, and I ended up having my first big relationship marriage from about 91 to 99. And then that all went. I didn't actually play a game through that whole season, as you take on new dad roles and all that sort of family life sort of thing. So I wasn't too worried. But then that all ended in 99, and I was working with him at the time, good old mate Josh Brandon at our drafting office, drawing house plans. And it was about 2001. He said to me, he said, "Mate, come and have a game of cricket." And I said, what's the story? Who are you playing with? And he told me about the church's comp. And I pretty much thought to myself, oh, really? Church's comp? I don't know. What's that? What is that? Do I need to go to church and all that sort of thing? And would I fit in? Or I just want to play cricket. I basically just said, yeah, come on. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. So he dragged me out within a week or two, and the rest is history with playing for the churches.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Cool.
So where do you kick off, mate?
Yeah. Well, so I was Kalanga boy. All my earliest years I can remember. I mean, I was born in Rockhampton, but then I moved to Kalanga. My parents moved back to Kalanga in 1981. So I'm a 79er. And yes, I grew up in Kalanga. So I played all my junior cricket at Pine Rivers Cricket Club. So from under 10s all the way through to under 16, I was a Pine Rivers Cricket Club player. I got Player of the Year in under 13s. I think my name's still on the board up there in the clubhouse.
Yep.
So yeah, played all my junior cricket there, and then in sort of, I think it was about under 12s, I was picked in the zone team. And played your zone cricket like what you would have done too for Redcliffe and districts, and that was your sort of your Sunday games where you played against Sandgate, Redcliffe, and Valleys, and those sort of teams in the rep sort of sides, and then from there you get picked into Brisbane North, and so I was picked into Brisbane North side straight away from under 12s all the way through to under 16. And then obviously from there, they're then sort of looking to place you in a district club, so, and obviously the easiest one for me was Sandgate Redcliffe. So I ended up in Sandgate Redcliffe that way, but there was a bit of time that I was playing both Pine Rivers and Sandgate Redcliffe. But yeah, playing under 16s and under 19s in Sandgate Redcliffe, I was still playing, Saturdays with Pine Rivers, and then like when I finished juniors, then I was playing seniors. Obviously playing grade cricket. Played a couple of years in 4s and 3rds. Back then, I was actually more of a wicket keeper. So I played the under 16 Taverners, and when I sort of came out of under 16s, I don't know how it happened, but I ended up keeping. It was probably through just demand, and that there was no one to keep in fourths when I started playing grade, and then that sort of I took to it pretty well. But yeah, being at Sandgate Redcliffe, you had at the time you had Gavin Fitness, who was at that time was really the second in line to Wade Seacombe. And then Gian Healy was kind of finishing his career, and it was sort of Wade Seacombe, and then Gavin Fitness was sort of next in line. So it is basically a club where I was never going to be able to get past probably 3rds or 2nds in as a keeper, and probably batting in the middle order ish. I think I was batting about 5 and 6. But yeah, so I sort of did that. Then when I finished school, I got posted to Rockhampton to do a university degree. So I started an education degree. I couldn't get in anywhere in Brisbane, and my parents really wanted me to go to university. So I did that. Went and played up in Rockhampton for about I was only about 1 year. Played A grade in Rocky, and then I got selected in some Queensland under 18 country side, but I never got to play because I left. I got pretty homesick. I didn't really like being up in Rocky. I came back, and I actually came back quite sick. I don't know if I've ever told you, but I came back with glandular fever and hepatitis A. I got pretty got unlucky, got pretty sick, and doctors pretty much said you can't play cricket, you can't do anything, you can't work, you need to just chill for the next sort of 3 to 6 months until you start feeling better, because it's not something that's going to go away quickly. And as I understand it, there's no real actual cure for glandular fever. It's sort of something it's something that you sort of have for the rest of your life, and it sort of comes and goes. And obviously, how you treat yourself is how it defines its presence in your day-to-day life. But yeah, so then I was like, what do I do? I want to go back and play grade cricket at Sandgate, but I'm probably not ready for 2 to 3 nights of training, because at Sandgate Redcliffe, if you didn't train Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, you were never going to be picked above fourths. That was pretty much, well, that was a rule when I was going through. Exactly. Ken Dixon and Barsby and those guys would sort of just say, look, if you want to be picked above fourths, then you've got to train Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's right. So and I knew physically I wasn't up to it. I was too sick. I came across because I'm being a musician also. I was putting together a bit of a band with a guy called Paul Robinson. You might have come across him in Churches Cricket. He played. He ended up playing with Ashgrove mainly, the Camp Hill guys and Ashgrove, Clarkie's team. because he was really good mates with Clarkey. But yeah, I ended up playing. So I came to Churches cricket that way. So I thought he's like, oh, it's a relatively easier comp to play. There are representative sides if you want to sort of go to higher honours. And so I thought, oh, I'll give it a go. It can't hurt. And yeah, so I sort of started playing that way. And then and the year that I joined, the year that I started, which was 97, was the year that they did that centenary year thing. So it was the centenary of Churches cricket that year. So when we and you had the back then you had the inner city games where you had Brisbane versus Ipswich. There was enough Ipswich teams and Brisbane teams. It was like 25, 30 teams in the comp when I started. And you could then so I got picked in the Brisbane under 21 side, and then you play 3 games or 2 games against Ipswich, and then they pick a Queensland side. So I got picked in that. I think I got 98 against Ipswich in the second game, and that sort of got me in the Queensland side. And and I guess I was in the under 21s, and then the following year was one of the big the trips to Adelaide and the national state. So then I did 5 of them. So I did Adelaide, Melbourne, Sydney, Ipswich, Adelaide again. That was sort of my 5 that I went to, plus the 21. So six sort of carnivals in total.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of how I got in. I mean, I found it as pretty good. I thought the standard of cricket was pretty good. I liked the camaraderie that was built up between the teams and the state teams, and I really enjoyed it. So I stayed. I was in the first couple of years. I was always planning to go back and play district cricket again, but I just kept finding a reason to stay. And I ended staying, and I guess the rest is history.
Exactly.
And I'm glad I did, as it was a lot. It was a very, very fun part of my life, So and some of those trips we did away were just like amazing. Money can't buy that. Those times we had away and the craziness that went on.
Exactly. Well, same when you because I was as I say, I didn't play for 10 years, so I was 31 again, and by the time Josh asked me to come and have a run, within a game or 2, I knew that this was going to be me for however long, till my legs dropped off. Hence the whole.
You came back later.
Hence the whole tubes of DP. And
oh mate, I always knew you were somewhere near the vicinity when I could smell DP, man. And on some of those tours, if I could smell DP, I knew you were somewhere near me.
And the Radox bust every Saturday night. So, but I was at that time, I just needed to bury my head into something new. After the old first relationship breakup, and cricket was just the perfect ultimate thing. And I quickly realised, as I say, it'd been church cricket. I didn't really know what that was myself. So, but I quickly realised after a few games that all these blokes are awesome. Half of them love a beer and swear a bit. I reckon I could fit in here. So and at the same time, with Josh and another few workmates and their mates and so on, so we ended up making a winter team, and you remember the one. I think you played a few games.
Yeah, I played a few games. So yeah,
the Finnegans 11 through in warehouse cricket. So that was an insane time. So we had 4 seasons in that. We won 2 out of 4 premierships there. So from basically 2001 to 2005, it was 12 months cricket a year, and for 5 years in a row. So that was just gold. It's exactly what I needed. So and after that, I pretty much only. There's a fair bit to go after that. Then the Cavs folded in Churches. Then I went to the Rangers, had a few seasons with them, and it was just always the best times, mate.
Yeah, well, I mean, I jumped around too. So when I started, it was it was a much larger competition when I started to when I finished. But I started with Fernie Hills Uniting, and that was maybe 2 seasons there. Definitely more than one. It was 2 seasons, maybe 3. And then they sort of folded, and then all those guys that were in that team ended up going and playing with Ashgrove or Camp Hill, as they were called. But I guess being involved pretty heavily with Gary and Goose and Shane Connors at Logan through the state teams, they were like, hey, don't go over there, come and play with us. So that's how I sort of merged over with Logan, which then became the Noah Sharks later on. But then we also had a couple of years where Gary had wasn't deciding he wasn't going to play, or he was going to umpire for a while and not play. And Shane had gone off and played. He went back and played district cricket for Souths, and we didn't really have a team. So I think, didn't I jump across to your side for a while? Me and Stinky came and played with you at the Cabs for like 1 year. Was it 1 year or 2 years?
You did.
And then went back once Gary decided to put in another team, and everyone was back again, and that was sort of my luck. Then that was sort of who I played with until the end.
There's lots of little different phases and gaps like that we all don't remember, but yeah.
And I also played for a couple of years there. I played for Walston Park on a Sunday in the church in the warehouse. So they for a while they had a Sunday warehouse team, that and I'd play for Walston Park for that So I got on pretty well with all those guys too, and they were practically the same side as a Saturday. I don't know how they were playing Saturdays and Sundays. But I'd play with them. I think it might have been only like fortnightly games, like every second Sunday. So I played with those guys as well on a Sunday, and that was pretty fun. So I remember Ken Suthers was in the team, and Jimmy King and those guys. So Meat Man.
Yep.
So but yeah, so that's kind of a bit of about our background and where we got and where we sort of went in with Churches cricket, which was a lot of fun.
Yes.
So as we kind of wanted to kind of touch on today was we've just put out this 12th Man release that we've been working on over the last 3 months. When did you fall in love with the 12th Man? How did the 12th Man sort of make its way into your life? And I guess more of a question for you. When did you start doing the voices?
Well, the cool thing is, okay, so I always had a fantastic, unreal upbringing, childhood. So our house was always full of jokes and laughs, and a few clips over the ear hole, all that sort of all the normal stuff. But it was basically a super happy household. I remember being 13, I think I was 13. And my dad introduced me to Cole Elliott. Vintage old Aussie comedian. And then 84, 85 came Rodney Roode. And then then our household just got even funnier and funnier by the hour after all those. And then in 87, when the first 12th Man CD came out, vinyl, record, tape, whatever you bought. And by that time, everybody, it was just that time of life. I reckon pretty much half of us around the country used to just slouch on the couch Saturday afternoon and watch Wild World of Sports from 1 to 6 p.m. And that just became a staple of life for Aussie people to do. And then to hear this guy named Billy Birmingham to create such wide cross sports situations into a comedy skit, it was the next best thing. And before you knew it, you were always, especially with the commentary team, I think everybody that I knew, workplaces and friends, you always, once you became pretty popular overnight, everybody's trying to do their voices and Richies and all that sort of thing. And you always was always just a one-liner here and there, amongst your mates, workmates, family, or whatever. And I couldn't even remember if I did them well or whether I do them well now. But lately, as we've been doing this, I liken it to because I played guitar since I was 14 as well. So I ended up having 5 lessons when I was about 13, 14 to play guitar, and over a month or so, and I got to the end of it, and I thought, oh, that seems a bit boring. I think I could probably do better myself. And so I quit those 5 lessons and went home and started teaching myself. And so I've pretty much taught myself how to play guitar, and it was all in the beginning by you'd know yourself as a musician, working out tones and notes and all sort of things, and that's all that's all I've done with the voices. Every voice or sound has a tone or a note, so I believe I can tap into that pretty well, and and that's how look. I honestly still to this day think I only do okay with the voices, but it's nice to hear when other people think, wow, that's okay, that's pretty good, mate. So but that's all I do. It's just knowing the tone of a sound, and that's all I've done with the voices to try and be exactly. And the funny thing is, we've really only copied the sound of Billy Birmingham's voice, not the original Richie and Tony's and that, because over the months I've listened to a lot of interviews and stuff with original cricket stuff, and I don't think that I think that's what the whole of Australia wanted to do. It became a great cartoon version of the real voices.
Yeah.
So anybody could sort of pull it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the idea is, everybody's got their one-liners and it sounds awesome. But until we sort of just seriously think about what we wanted to do, the trick there for me was to just, let's have a whole bunch of one-liners and just join them together, and then it starts to become a bit of a story and a more of a rhythmic, if you know what I'm saying, a situation and a sentence or a paragraph. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, I probably like you. You can't really be a cricket fanatic like I was as a kid. It's all I did, lived and breathed was cricket. And all your friends are buying the CDs. I mean, I grew up in a very conservative household. So, swearing wasn't really something that we were allowed to do. I'd get, my dad would backhand me in the face for swearing. And my dad worked for the church for years. So I was never allowed it in the house, so to speak. But,
right.
so it would be a case of going over my friend's place and listening to it. And then it becomes something that's a bit more appealing because you're doing it behind your parents' back.
Escaping the reality.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it had even more appeal because you were doing something wrong. That you're doing something you're not meant to do. But I obviously fell in love with it, the whole idea of it, and started obviously trying to say the lines myself, but never got any good at it. But I definitely always loved listening to it, and anyone who could do it half decent was like, yeah, this is amazing, because I mean, how can you be a cricket player and not see the humor? That's the thing that separates cricket from probably so many other sports, is that how there's just so much, like the talking about cricket is almost more than the playing cricket. The giving people crap and the banter that goes on the field, off the field, between your mates, between the opposition. That's almost more than the cricket itself.
Oh, correct. That's what you remember more so than individual sort of instances in each game, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So I mean, it makes it all better when you're around and you're playing with people who are good, and you're playing in rep teams, and you're playing with people who you're in a pretty elite group of people that that can play cricket to that kind of level. And that makes it even more special. But yeah, I mean, Yeah, always found it super funny to listen to, and loved the humor in it all. And I definitely remember when he was putting out that Marvelous song. Like, I would go I would have the radio on every night and wait, because it was like charting. It was charting on B105 or whatever the station was at the time, and I'd be waiting up all night for it to come on. And because back then there was no internet, there was no Spotify or YouTube or anything like that. If you wanted to listen to something, you had to buy the CD, or you had to wait for the radio to come, and then I would like tape it. I'd record I had a cassette blaster that would actually record stuff, and I would record heaps of things. And yeah, and I remember like recording that song off the radio, and obviously, just playing it back all the time, and that's definitely a memory that I have, a vivid memory I have of the 12th Man and that Marvelous song, and all of that, So,
that's it became household stuff to just talk like it with your mates and friends at work, at home, everywhere you went.
Exactly, and as you say, most people can pull up a line here and there, but to sort of to get to your standard where you can talk like that about anything, and you can switch character and switch voice the way you do, is pretty amazing. Which kind of brings me to the next point of how the heck did we come up with this idea? What was the trigger point to actually making this thing all happen? If you want to tell us all.
Okay, yeah, cool. Well, as I say, we've always, on our tours, I've always talked like this to you and the mates, but I think the birth point of this whole thing, which is a long time ago, was the Bow Desert Plunket Cup Day.
Absolutely.
Road trip. Now there's the lucky four blokes in this. There's you, myself, Matt Marto Ramsey, and Josh the Maroons Maniac Brandon. So we all travelled in the same car, and it's cool as they're in the story as well. But it wasn't until I think I might have ripped off something along the way. But then we played the game, and then it was I remember on the way home. We just started for some reason going right with 12th man lines and whatever, and you nearly died in the back seat laughing.
Oh, a number of times. You nearly killed me a number of times. I don't know that I've ever laughed as hard as I've ever done on that occasion. I remember not being able to breathe. I remember having to get out the car at the gas station to try and get some some oxygen going through my body again, because we stopped at a gas station, and I had to get out because I was just my stomach was so sore from laughing, and my head had a headache because I was laughing so hard, and you just kept it going, because I knew you did it, but I never knew how good you were until that point. I never knew how many different voices you did. From that point, I think I'd only ever heard you talk Richie. But in that car, you spoke everyone, and I was like, "This is gold." And I'm in my head, because I'd been a sound engineer for maybe 3 or 4 years, and I'm thinking, how could we make this into something cool? And I definitely thought on that day in my head. I probably mentioned it in the car a few times. We should do something. We should make our own version.
Well, you've always said that since the Adelaide tour.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, that was that, and that was just that. Pretty much that game there was it was the trial for me to get picked on that tour. It was a really good vibe that day. We won the game. It was my first game in a long time, and I was pretty lucky I took 3 or 4 wickets and hit the winning runs. Got 20 odd not out with Josh Brandon. So the vibe was really cool. Then they announced the team straight after the game. So in the team, I was copping so much shit from everyone, saying, "Oh, this guy's been picked. How's this guy getting picked from only playing one game? You guys had all been playing churches cricket all year, and I hadn't. I can't remember why, But I remember Goose saying, "Look, if you can just play this game, and if you have an okay game, then you're a chance to be in the team." And it just, the vibe was really cool. And then getting in the car on the way back home was just something that we've talked about ever since. And I think
Exactly.
is the trigger point, and was the where this idea for this thing was born.
I think it was all born, yeah. And as you said, for 17 years you wanted to do something, but we didn't really know. You're traveling down the Bow Desert, talking about brothers and sisters and uncles, and that's part of the story that and it wasn't until the recent Sri Lanka Test series with Australia over there, where I can't remember why I started, but I just started. We've always talked about Senior as well. Senior's always been a staple.
Oh yeah, so that character came up in that character came up in Adelaide.
Oh, he came up in Adelaide.
I remember, because I was waiting to bat on the first day. I was batting like bat number 9, and I'm waiting to bat, and you just started like, "Oh, how can I make Woody laugh?" And then you started saying that your Senior voice with Fitty and saying, "Let's get pizza and stuff." And I'm going, "Guys, man, I've got a bat in a tick. Like, I'm going to be in any second." And you were like, "Nah." It was like waving a red flag at a bull to you. And you just went. I pretty much went on the field like the most relaxed I've ever been, and because I was laughing so hard, and I had no nerves, and I got some runs, ended up 20 odd not out or something, and it was a really good game. But that character was born then, and then you said it for the rest of the tour, and you've said it ever since.
Correct. And so with the recent Sri Lanka tour, I ended up just on the back of those started chatting with you again. A few of those, I did the Bow Desert you said, give us a Bow Desert take. So I made that one up. and the Sri Lanka one, just 30, 40 seconds long. And then you were sending me your reactions live in the car, nearly crashing the car.
Oh, yeah.
Laughing the lung out. And then it was only straight after that, I said, how good would it be for the commentary team and the boys to call one of our Queensland games? And the vibe at the time was the Sri Lanka tour. So, and that's been done with Billy, Sri Lanka. So let's go with Queensland, Sri Lanka, and that's where our idea was born. That was probably just I think it was just end of January. I think pretty much 1st of February, I penned the first couple of names and went from there.
Yeah, and that was really what gave us the vehicle. Was that all right? Now we actually have a scenario here. The Queensland Churches team will pick a side. Let's pick the strongest personalities that we can find or that we can remember over our years playing it. And obviously, people that have got, funny stuff about them that we can poke fun of and
exactly
and highlight.
Exactly.
And
that's where and that's how I ended up. The Queensland teams that I handpicked was sort of a combination of obviously blokes that I've been closest to with as well over the years, and ones that I knew that could exploit their funny, silly, stupid, mad traits. Pretty easily.
And no one was spared, was there? Everyone has been absolutely torn strips off. Everyone.
I hope so.
me included.
Oh yeah. But that's all. But that was the hilarious stuff that everyone talked about on tour as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, exactly. So it was very easy. I'm sorry. Mention. It was great to mention a whole bunch of vintage names there, which we wanted to, as we started to write the story. We haven't really spoken about that as well, but we'll get into it. Like, actually writing the story.
So how did you sort of start to come up with a storyline?
Well, once we both said to each other, all right, let's have a crack at this. Because I'd sent you those couple of things and all I had was just a bit of crowd playing in the back while I was recording the the Wombi on the Beaudesert pitch with the cows and stuff. And so from that moment, started making up Sri Lankan names, and then the story started. I don't know. I don't know how it sort of started, but I sort of had a basic idea. Okay, well, if we're going to make this okay, make it as broad as possible. So I started with Richie and the boys in the hotel, and then let's get to the ground, and then we'll start talking about all our Queensland Sri Lanka team names, and then we'll have blokes bat along the way, and da da da. So as the story went along, it basically just came to me sort of within an hour or so of like a bit of each scene, and then it was basically just exploiting each bloke's traits. Comedy, I'm no comedian by any stretch of the imagination, but comedy that I know about is just it's a classic example of huge gross exaggeration. So everybody's traits just got blown out the window, and So
it's called hyperbole. It's hyperbole.
Exactly,
You say something to 200% to explain your point.
Yep, exactly. And so the story just came along. I didn't know what I was going to write 5 minutes ahead. I just went along like a cricket match, ball by ball. You don't know what's going to happen next ball or next over. I just went along over by over, and created with what each scene happened as it went along.
Yeah, well, from my point of view, so I start hearing you sort of record this stuff because I'm saying, hey, put it down, send me some stuff. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, let's organize. I'm thinking to myself, let's somehow organize a day to record it all. Maybe hire a studio, or do something. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm hearing the stuff that's being sent. You're sending to me on your phone, and I put a couple of them into my system, and sort of had a bit of a listen back and played a bit around with them to see what can I do here. And would we be able to use this content, as is? Because I know you're busy, I'm busy. Like I'm a sales rep. I'm on the road all the time, and you're doing, and we live on opposite sides of Brisbane. So, and then I'm thinking, this is the stuff that you're giving me is pretty good. It's actually working. So I sort of did my thing and sent it back to you and go, hey, well, that's sort of the product we can make out of this. Maybe we can just get away with doing it, you just using your phone. And then that's really, so if, for the people who out there that think that we hired a studio and did this in some kind of, grandiose way, not the case at all. I mean, you recorded it all on your phone and sent me clips, and then I would just sort of imported those audio files, assembled them all and cut them all together to kind of, I mean, it'd be good if we can, do something like that, or hire a studio or something next time. But for this time, that's kind of what worked. And I think I'm pretty happy with the product that we got. Especially considering that's how it was done,
It's totally insane how you made it sound. It's off the charts, so like everything. So we only hope that haven't heard back yet, but I hope Billy hears this. We need him to hear it. He will in time.
Well, that's a really good segue to my kind of next question is so as we've sort of, we put out there on the socials that we have been in touch with Billy Birmingham throughout this process. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Touch on your dialogue you've had with Billy Birmingham.
Okay, well, as I say, I think it was only about halfway through us finishing this. It hit me that because I've been lucky to in my life meet a lot of my favorite bands and hang out with lots of all the famous people and all that, and I just thought, while we're doing this is being a tribute to him. I thought he needs to hear this. So yeah, the thought there is like, okay, well, how do I get in contact with him? So we did end up getting contact through him through one of his agents, and he eventually got back saying, well, I've got written out. So yeah, we basically at the end of the day wanted him to hear this because it's a tribute to him, and it's basically just for a bunch of 30, 40 mates just to have a laugh. Just two clowns having a crack at,
Yeah.
Doing what he does, copying him, copying someone else. So I liken it to going to see a cover band on Saturday night of one of your favorite bands. You go there, you see a cover band of somebody, and I don't believe this is any different. So it's always, I love cover bands. They're sort of basically all what we've got left of like some main bands. So it's awesome to hear their renditions and keep the vibe going, if you know what I mean. And
Yeah, absolutely.
a few beers into it, or 10 or 12, you next minute you feel like you're actually seeing who you're actually the originals there. So but it was basically to let him know we were doing this, and hope he had a laugh and eventually heard it, but also to hopefully not one day that he heard about it and heard it, and kind of in a way hopefully not got him upset to some degree, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a lot before you even got in touch with him, that it was really we really kind of wanted his blessing to do it. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We want him to realize that we're tapping into his, what he did, both from a voices point of view and a production point of view. We wanted to like show this is we're doing this because of you, not in any way to take anything away from what you've done. If anything, just to pay massive tribute to it.
Massive tribute only, mate. Could never happen. I even told him that in a reply email, nowhere near that good, mate. As I say, just two larrikins from Brisbane having a crack and a laugh.
Yeah.
And if someone else has a laugh at what we have done, then that's awesome too. But so we basically, I sent him, he got in contact, told him what we're doing, and I've got his emails written out here. He goes, first one was, hey mate, I would have to hear what you have done or to see a script before I could comment on any potential legal issues with your piece. Over to you, Errol. Regards, Billy B.
So at this point, he's kind of like preempting that we're potentially going to literally copy him, or we're going to use audio from his actual CDs and maybe do a mishmash. He's probably thinking that at this point, which is why he's responded in that way. But yeah, sorry, go on.
Correct. No, correct. But I loved his. I had a laugh when he said the words "over to you, Errol," and I could hear it in the Richie voice straight away. Over to you, Errol. And so that was. So then we then we replied to him and told him, "Awesome, mate. Can't wait for you to hear it. We can send some samples. We can guarantee that nothing is being used of your material. It's all our original, what we can make up in our own pantry, toilet, cupboard, whatever. Sounds from here and there. Just hope you have a laugh too, mate." So we sent him some 5-minute samples, and so he obviously heard them, which is great. And his reply to that was, "Hey boys, happy for you to go ahead with this. Feel like I should be handing on the baton. I'm trusting that you haven't used any 12th man material in your final piece. Good luck, chaps. Billy B, the 12th man." So I replied to him saying, as I said, "Don't worry, mate. We're not that good. We're not. I'd love to have the baton and get you to autograph it, but I don't think I'll be taking it anywhere. This is just a bunch of silly fun for our mates." Yeah. So that was.
And one thing I sort of like around this time when we're starting to get these type of responses from him, I sort of started looking around to see other people? Like, have other people done it, or have other people done this and
Mm.
we haven't like ever come across it? Or and
Yeah,
I was
same.
really surprised at what I saw. I was surprised at what I didn't see. That I was surprised that like it doesn't look as though anyone's really tried to do this. So I thought, well,
No,
this is starting to become a pretty cool opportunity here, because I don't really see anyone that's done it, you know. And
no,
obviously it's quite a difficult thing to do, to come up with, you know, an hour's worth of material, make it, you know, draw it into the voices that he did, and somehow accompany that with a story of some cricket mates, you know.
yeah,
And then obviously, you
yeah,
know, come up with some crazy names for some Sri Lankans, you know. You know,
yeah,
it isn't the easiest thing to put together, and then you got to package all that in a way that kind of sounds kind of cool, and you know, you're using some samples, and you're sort of putting it together, which is, you know, I mean, for me, it's quite simple to do, but
yeah,
from a technical stand of view, which is why I was sort of saying, man, if you can write a really cool script, well, that's something I can't help you with.
yeah,
Is if you can write a cool script and a really cool, you know, and obviously perform these voices in the way that I know you can, I can do the rest. I can make this all sort of, you know, neatly package this together in a way that we can sort of put it out. And that's when I'm like, wow, this is, because initially I thought it was just gonna be, you know, probably like a 20-30 minute sort of, you know, Errol's best one-liners, and then I'll just for me, and I'll just play that in my car every day and laugh myself, you know, crazy. I thought it was just
same,
going to be that, you know, and
same.
maybe send it on to a few of the guys in Church's Cricket who you know, and you know, but yeah, then at that point, it was that point that I sort of thought, geez, well, maybe we can sort of up the ante here a bit, and make it a bit more of a cool kind of a production, so to speak, you know. So,
Yeah, and
which is, yeah,
that naturally happened as it just went along. The more it went along, um, the more I don't know. I don't sound like a publisher as well, but like I'm not a writer as well. But I can just, you know, the more I start to write, as in think about a story of our players and what actually happened. There's so many cool, funny, true stories in this that all the blokes will know
yeah,
about their
exactly.
about themselves,
Yeah.
and things that happened and things that didn't happen, then just, you know, exaggerate them by tenfold. And you know, everything from Cookie with his West Indian stagger and not giving a rat's about bowling two wide, Goose bowling wides. Yeah, they weren't wides, but he did bowl a wide, but he ended up taking a wicket on that.
Well,
Matt,
he used to swing it like 2 meters. Like,
oh, yeah,
I remember
yeah, yeah,
keeping to him so many times where he'd swing the ball like 2.5 meters, and
yeah.
he was swinging it so far that he couldn't control it. You know, so
X will
that
be running.
it's really just hyperbole.
X will be running down the pitch, smashing them everywhere. Exactly. Woodrow's
And
two bats.
I assume that you know, because I didn't ask you to curtail my character at all.
Woodrow,
You know,
Woodrow's two bats. Woodrow's two bats is probably the only false one.
well, I assume that you didn't see me in the shower one day. I'm assuming that
No,
I'm assuming that the reason you said that is because you think I had reasonably good defense.
no, never seen that. The only thing I've seen in the shower on tour is Ken Sutter's bed.
But I
And
take it from your story that you thought I had a reasonably good defensive shot.
oh, for sure. Well, you did. You did.
As though
And
you were, as though you know, I was batting with two bats, because it was yeah,
well,
hard to
that's
get
it.
through.
As I say, as I went along with trying to think of a story about each bloke, I mean, the points and traits just they got ridiculous, but that's what comedy is. Just exaggerate things 20 times over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I took it all in good fun. I thought it was funny. You know, I didn't want to curtail it in any way. You know, and what better way to sort of, you know, to show that this is all just for fun, that even the people that are doing it are also getting taken fun of as well. You know, and
Totally.
there's no, you know, it's all for laughs. So
Totally.
yeah, cool. So
You better.
so what is
You
it?
better.
What is the response? Sorry,
Yeah,
you
no,
go.
go ahead, mate. Go ahead.
So what I was going to say was, so we put it out. We put it out on the 19th, which just happened to be my birthday. That was just a good coincidence that happened. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna, my birthday's on Friday. Let's put it. That's Saturday. Let's put it out then.
Yeah.
What has the response been so far? What kind of a response have you
Well,
witnessed
overnight,
so far?
so it's been a week. It's been 8 days. Just overnight, we've clocked up to 500 views, haven't we?
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
So that's pretty. That's damn awesome.
Which is
I can't
about, I don't
believe
know,
that.
that's about 470 more than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Well, especially when I thought when it all started, I thought, oh well, my mum and dad are going to love it. My brother will love it. And maybe 30, 40 cricket mates. So whether they've watched it twice themselves, it's still a good nudge above that. So that's awesome. That's unreal.
Yeah, and the comments coming in have all been pretty, all the people that have messaged you publicly, privately, it's all been pretty.
Yeah,
It's all been pretty positive.
We've also plugged it on a few cricket Facebook websites around the place. So obviously they're getting a few views from there, and
yeah, from what
but,
I've seen, has all been really positive. Everyone seems to think it's funny, which you never really know when you sort of go to something as colorful as this. You don't know what people's reaction is going to be, but it's all everyone seems to have taken it in good humor.
Awesome, mate. And I just want to say to you, Woodrow, my mate Zippy, my producer, you're a bloody legend, mate. Your production, Woodrow's production on this. If you're watching this, guys, and you've seen the video, and if you haven't yet, watch it. His production is out of the world. All I did was talk silly for 40 minutes, and this is what he's done. He's a pro. Yes, he's a bloody bloke.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, I can only be as good as the talent that I'm working with. That's what I've, being a sound engineer for the past 20 odd years. You can only work with what you have from a sound point of view, from a content point of view. If you're working with stuff that just isn't replicatable, then there's not a heck of a lot that a good sound person can do. So so obviously I saw massive potential in it, and I was like, yeah, let's take this to where it can go, and hope that people, it was obviously always a bucket list thing for me to do. I think for you too. That I always wanted to do it, but unless you have someone that you can work with that can do all the stuff that I can't do, which is the voices and the script writing and then so from that point of view, it was definitely more than worth putting the time into it that I did, so and hopefully there's more. What's the future plans of the Queensland Churches 11 12th man tributes?
Well, yeah, good question.
Because nothing will happen without you, I can tell you that one. Nothing will go forward without you.
Well, as I said before, vice versa. Mate, look, honestly, we're just having fun riding this wave. However this little wave takes us to the shore or out to shore, don't really care too much in each way. But look, if demand, who knows? Look, a dream would be to for Billy himself to hear it and give us a buzz, which I've told him to, and tell us to head on down to Sydney and have a barbecue on his yacht in Sydney Harbour. That'd be the dream.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be awesome.
Get him to autograph my 12th man vinyl records. That'd be the dream.
Yeah.
But apart from that, mate, as we know from the very first get-go, this was just a bunch of fun for a bunch of mates. If it goes any bigger than that, we'll see how the demand goes. 500 is pretty insane. I'm loving that. But basically, we do know that we most probably will do a second, but it's certainly no time soon. Yeah, it takes the effort that it's taken is quite immense and disruptive to normal day life with family and friends and
Well,
work.
I mean, it's possibly it's worth pointing out. It's about. I mean, I sort of did a rough guesstimate the other day when I was trying to work out, some sort of a rough, and I definitely was never counting by any. I'm just trying to give a post project view on it. It's probably, between the two of us, probably around about 250 hours, 250 to 300 hours. I would say
so.
between you writing, you recording, us going back and forth, and obviously all the pre-production and production and post-production that went into sort of to doing it. It's and then obviously converting it into a video that we can put up on YouTube. So
for sure, mate.
It's in the vicinity of that. So yeah, it's going to take at least that again to do another one.
Yes, well, Littlewood, you better get to the promotion of the website, mate, because the old back tooth is starting to float again.
Yes, well, well, basically, I'm going to put a little comment in the chat here on this video. So if you just go to the comments section of this video, and you'll see a actual YouTube link. That is, if you click on that link, you can easily find the video and give it a watch if you haven't already. You want to make sure you've got an hour's free time. I think it's better to watch it all in one go than bits and pieces. But yeah, it's there in the chat, or you can just, you can just search, the Queensland Churches 11, 12th man, something like that. It's gonna come up in most searches now. When you search that sort of thing, it's going to be easily evident to know which video it is. So so go and have a look, go check it out, drop it a like, give it a comment, tell us what you think, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, and have fun with it. Really, that's the whole point. Have a laugh, and let us know what you think about it.
And go check out the Ekka and Woody cricket show.
Yeah, well, so we're probably going to be pretty keen to get together and do this, jump online and do a live stream. I don't know, once a month or something, or once whenever we got something to talk about. Yeah. So yeah, we might have some more episodes.
Oh, bloody oath, Woody.
Yeah, do you want to sign off us with some of the voices, mate? You got to do at least one voice. One line from each voice. So give us something from Richie. I've lost you, buddy. We've lost him. He's just somehow we've got a bit of a technical or an internet problem. We'll just leave it another minute or so, see if he comes back. But yeah, the link is in the comments. Jump on it and have a look and let us know what you think. Still lost him. I don't know what's happened. Lost him for good now. All right. Well, I reckon that's about it. I reckon we've covered everything we wanted to cover today. So, yeah, it's been fun. Hope you liked it, and might see you again sometime very, very soon. All righty. Signing off. Cheers.